but obviously the concepts are slightly different. So metrics is more about general alerting on the product. Logs, and so it's more for product administrator who is monitoring the product itself. Logs are information about the execution of the workloads. So can give you further information about how the workload is doing. So it's a kind of different monitoring. And the third part, the traces, that is not yet in the product, but it will be with one of the next fix packs, is more about the performance. And it goes through the Liberty part of the Liberty component that we embed. So the third will be more for performance monitoring scenarios. So this is, as you can see, it's actually a lot of data that we enable to collect. If we look at the IBM ecosystem, the IBM picture, we integrate with Instana, that is the observability tools of the Watson IOPS portfolio, let's say. And we are planning something with Turbonomic, and through one of the traditional interfaces that we have for monitoring, we also integrate with Watson IOPS. So we are completely, can be monitored by the IBM Cloud Pak. But as you can see, we also, using open standards as we do, we can integrate with any observability tool on the market. Grafana and Prometheus are already provided. Instana, we will have a demo, but also Dynatrace, New Relic, Datadog, Splunk, Elastic. I mean, all the main tools that are on the market, we are open to be monitored by them.
Marco?
Yes.
Question. So just on that slide there, where has that actually come to fruition? Is this all on DWC version 10? So you Instania, Shibonic?
No, this is
how
not
do you actually
through
look at that? Is that through the GUI?
Not through the DWC.
Is it separate? It's a completely separate component.
It's depending on the product that you will use to the observability tool.
Okay. All right. It's the connectors. Okay.
So we will provide with the next fix pack predefined dashboards for Instana, but it's quite simple to build your own views on any tool that you want to use. So you monitor those information together with all the IT environment, not just for workload automation. So if you have, I don't know, let's say you use Splunk to monitor your environment, then you can build dashboards in Splunk to also see workload automation data all together with the other products.
I thought I could build a DWC dashboard for my operations staff. Which
you can do that already.
And using that tool, using this,
yeah,
to give them that.
Usually, if you have the operation dashboard, and DWC is fine for that.
Yeah.
Usually, you have availability dashboards. In that case, you need to monitor also the infrastructure and other stuff. So, an observability is much better for that because you can combine different stuff together. So, probably in the enterprise, you already have some monitoring tools, observability tools for monitoring the infrastructure. So, the idea is using metrics, you can add to that tool all our middleware and product metrics. So, you can have an overview dashboard on that tool to monitor our full stack.
Okay.
The second point is the logs, because the other common and very common scenario is that you want to receive alerts or open tickets if you have a job in advance, something like that, and that's something that we cannot do with metrics. So the logs, in the past that was the BM events, for example. Now the BM events can be also formatted in a JSON log, and that can be very easily integrated with most of the observability tools because JSON logs are quite standards. So most of the tools are monitoring that. So without having to code and parse specifically our messages, you can just ingest all our alerts. Just configure what message do you want to forward in that log, and you have all of them there. And so there you can create your rules for auto-ticketing, alerting, whatever.
Basically, our strategy is different from our competitors that are usually, providing their own tool to do everything. We want to be open because we noticed that all our customers are using different products. and we want to, enable our product to be part of any ecosystem.
And at the same time, simplify the integration. So make the integration with the existing tools that the customer has very, very simple.
Another question, second question.
Yeah.
So on the reduction of money type thing, very keen on. So if I have a business partner, and we use Connect Direct to transfer data, secure files between us and our business partner, what you're saying here is now, suggested that through this tool,
No.
we've got Connect Direct, we can use a Connect Direct type job, and it's kind of free, so we can get rid of the Connect Direct license. Just making it clear there.
No, right now, so in addition, the strategy is to have both integrations with the MFT tools on one side, so Sterling, but we also added the Axway and other tools. And on the other side, provide out-of-the-box file transfer in the products. Right now, the out-of-the-box ones works only with standard protocols. So if the partner is using just an SFTP, you can use directly only file transfer jobs in that case. Or internally, you can use now the agent-to-agent file transfer to move files from one agent to another agent in Workload Automation, especially if you are producing a file with a job, you want to transfer that file on another machine and then process with another job. That's probably easier than involving another tool.
But in our particular case, this scenario, they'll only accept a Connect Direct connection. So they don't. We've been badgering for years to use FTP, but they won't use Connect Direct only. So that's why I just asked we could reduce a bit of cost.
So, for example, what MFT tools provides are all the gateways for incoming files, this kind of stuff, and we don't have nothing in the products directly for that. So for outbound, in some cases you can avoid any other products, but for inbound files, right now we are not ready for that.
Okay, so I will talk later today about the new AI part, so I won't spend time on this. File transfer, as you were mentioning. So we have this kind of interface with detailed information about the status of each file transfer, and this works in the same way if you use a file transfer plugin, which could be based on FTP protocols, or even similarly, I would say, for integrations, so for Axway or Sterling Connect Direct. These are the two, I guess, file transfer products that we integrate with right now. But we work also, you can choose as protocol, also agent to agent, which means that there is the agents who will take care of move files internally. So this is another feature we provide you, and this is out of the box. So if you use this, you will run more jobs, but you don't have to pay for the file transfer.
We will see a demo shortly.
Yeah. Last, general information about the new Workload Designer. As you probably know, working with the current Workload Designer before 10.1, there are some kind of different user interface depending on the object you are defining. So now we have changed that. There is one single user interface for all the objects. It's streamlined, has a different usability, higher usability. So there is an improved search functionality, object listing based on a hierarchical view, so folders if you use them, and you can edit multiple objects at the same time. The graphical view is integrated. So we have this new modeling part, and you will see a demo also about that in the afternoon. Questions? As I mentioned, all these features are available both for D and Z. There is no difference. Just finish. Oh no, I do have a couple of more slides. Sorry, I will try to be fast. This is the roadmap. I was forgetting the roadmap. So we have in plan a fixed pack more or less for November, where well, I will give you more information, but the main 2 points I would say is remote command line and the integration of the new self-service catalog into the new Workload Designer, plus some more smaller enhancements. Then we probably will have in the following quarter just a fixed pack with fixes and perhaps some more observability, the traces part. So as you see, we have a kind of mixed strategy. Like every 6 months, we deliver new functionalities, and in the middle there are fixed packs that are only with waivers, so that provide fixes for customers more quickly. And so we have other fixed packs in plan for 2023. For now, some let's say more work on integrating our definitions in the DevOps scenario of customers. So we'll probably need some suggestions for interaction with customers to listen about your needs about that. Some enhancements still on the graphical views of the modeling part, and more. This is okay. It's actually a little out to date because the keyring RACF for TCP IP access method is a Z announcement and will come in November this year. So, but this is to give you an idea. And on the part below, you see all the plugins that we intend to implement. It's a lot of them. Probably this is just a plan. Then some of them will shift. Some of them will be anticipated. But we have a consistent and strong roadmap on the integrations. So that's I hope good news for you.
For the, sorry, excuse me, for the RACF keyring stuff,
Yes.
are you going to include support for ATTLS?
We also are working to support TLS 1.3. Yes, and it's part of the contents that should be delivered in fourth quarter this year. Yeah, just here a few information. Remote command line, I think it was asked by many customers for a long time. It's the possibility also from the dynamic agents to have something similar to Conman that remotely executes commands on the engine. This basically should be another way to enable, to move from the old architecture of fault-tolerant agent to the more recent architecture of the dynamic agents. Because the one of the points was we don't have Conman on dynamic agents, and that's true. We are trying to cover this gap.
One question for you here. Do you need a remote command line, command and composer only from a dynamic agent or also from any PC that has no agent installed?
So as a standalone object.
As a standalone to install on your laptop to interact with the products.
For me, what I do, my strategy is to, when I'm installing an FTA, I put the option of both on, so it installs the FTA and dynamic agent at the same time. So I have a command line interface with that agent, even if it's an FTA or a dynamic agent, because it's the same server. Mm-hmm. So I've always done it that way.
No, yeah, but in addition to that, you may also want, so the command lines are the client for the product. So you may want to install that on your PC, not on a server.
We don't do that in our place.
You will not be allowed to use that? Okay.
The only thing I would like to ask, and I don't know if this is covered by this, is obviously we have centralized security.
Okay.
I don't know if that moves to lightweight agents or.
It will simplify probably the configuration, because right now with the command or FTA, you need to have the security file synchronized on all machines. Yeah. In this case, the command line will always go to the master, so it will just use the security on the master. So it's by nature centralized because it's a remote client for the master.
Okay, but isn't that a security hole if it's using the security file of the master? Because
no, you're authenticating. It's exactly like using the DWC. So you're authenticated as yourself on the master and process there. So you need credentials. We are introducing the API's keys for that reason. So basically, from DWC, you will generate the token and you will use that to authenticate your command line.
Okay, but we tend to have centralized security and we only push our security file down to the boxes. We want those boxes to have access to command.
Yes, but in that case, it's for the local command to check the local security file. In the case of remote command line, wherever you are starting the command, that goes to the master, checks the security on the master, on the security file there, that is the main one,
Okay.
and then authorize you to perform the command.
Basically, you don't need to deploy the security file on the dynamic agents.
Yeah. Yeah. We can chat a bit later about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're,
If you have concerns, we can
yeah,
talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
The new self-service catalog. Is anybody here using the self-service catalog for self-service scenarios? So it's a kind of different interface where business users have an easy access to the product to submit and track services that, under the cover are job streams that are dynamically added to the plan. This is available both for D and Z and can be a way to present an easy interface to business users.
Or application teams. So you
Or
may have,
application teams,
it depends on how you're organized. So sometimes if you have a centralized scheduling team, application teams doesn't know TWS. They just ask you to create the job scenes for them. And so they don't know exactly what is going under there. So theoretically, in that scenarios where they want to manually trigger the submission of job streams, they would just want to see their job streams, submit them, and track the execution. But they don't want to see all the dependency jobs because they're not so meaningful for them.
So it's a kind of self-service interface for users that don't have a deep knowledge of the workload automation concepts. They see just services, I submit this service, I can monitor it, and I can even do it from mobile devices. Okay?
So
obviously, this is just a kind of preview of what is coming with the fix pack. We will give you many more information when it's delivered. This was okay. Some of the key ring support, some more announcements, but of course this will be part of the next fix pack. Finally, I want to leave the stage to Wolfgang for some Z part.
Can I ask a question before?
Of course.
You showed the fixed packs for version 10, but are there going to be fixed packs for 9.5 as well?
Yeah, they will
Yes.
contain only ABARTs
Only ABARTs.
at this
Okay.
point. So 9.5 will go just with feedback with ABARTs starting from now, and all the new announcements will be on version 10.
Right.
So I don't have the date for fixed pack 6. Next or 7.
Yeah, feedback 6 is the next one.
I think should be in July, July.
Yeah, or maybe more July. No.
Yeah, July should be the next. Okay.
Okay, so also good morning from my side. So I'm Wolfgang Scherbele, the new product manager for IBM Z Workload Scheduler, so Workload Scheduler on the C side. Great to have a face-to-face event again after this long time. Actually, I've been with IBM for almost 25 years now already. I started as a developer, spent actually most of my time in product development, the system automation area, mainly on COS side, but also on the distribute side, automation, high availability solution and all that. And since a few years, I changed my role to being a product manager. So in addition to IBM Z Workload Scheduler that I took the responsibility for beginning of this year, I'm also the product manager for the IBM Z Service Automation Suite that's mentioned here, and also a few other products in our C automation portfolio, specifically some components in our suite offerings. You may have heard about Service Management Unite, which is a web-based user interface for several of our C AIOps offerings, and also our new ChatOps solution that provides a chat integration for our C offerings. And I would like to look at this from a little bit of a different angle now, and how the IBM Z Service Automation Suite can provide added value to the Z Workload Scheduler use cases and environments by providing specifically this new ChatOps integration that we also delivered with Z Workload Scheduler 10.1. And before I go into the details there, I would like to first introduce our AIOps and IBM Z strategy, which basically is embedded and complements the overall IBM AIOps strategy that Grace also introduced. So we have created this set of best practices for our IBM Z AIOps portfolio, created these different categories: detect, decide, and act, capability categories that are aligned with the typical problem isolation workflow, detecting a problem, deciding what to do, acting to fix the issue. And we've created these different best practices and sorted them into these categories, like monitoring and observability in the detect area, or application performance management. In decide, of course, we have the analytics tools. And for each of these best practices, we have associated IBM Z products that fulfill these best practices and provide the corresponding solutions for that. Today, I would like to focus obviously on the ACT part of this portfolio and of these best practices. I have highlighted here, of course, predictive workload automation, which is exactly fulfilled by IBM Z Workload Scheduler, providing the workload automation capabilities on the platform. Intelligent automation is provided by IBM Z System Automation and NetView, so our automation and high availability products. And did it move? I didn't touch it. And finally, also mentioned here the collaborative incident remediation, and that's actually a pretty new initiative that we're working on, providing ChatOps-based access to mainframe environments and mainframe tools, and also in conjunction with modern dashboard user interfaces. And the ones that I marked here in red are actually part of the IBM Z Service Automation Suite, which is a bundle that provides exactly these capabilities. So let's have a look at this offering, the IBM Z Service Automation Suite, which is a package of different products. And of course, these individual products make up the value of the suite offering. So if we start at the bottom here, you see NetView, which provides the core message automation and also network management on COS. On top of that, we have system automation, providing intelligent automation, policy-based, goal-driven automation, high availability, relying on NetView capabilities. So those two products form this intelligent automation best practice. Then, of course, part of that bundle is also Z Workload Scheduler. You're all well aware of that, to automate, plan, control the batch workloads. Then two features that are the real add-on to the suite, because the other products are also available standalone, but as part of the suite offering, we have also added these components, Service Management Unite, as well as Z ChatOps. Service Management Unite provides a dashboard user interface consolidating different data from service management tools on Z into one consolidated UI. And Z ChatOps provides integration in enterprise chat platforms like Microsoft Teams or Slack, and we also support MetaMost. We have just delivered a new version of this package in March, and that provides updates to the major products included here. Like, of course, it includes the Z Workload Scheduler 10.1 release, also the new System Automation 4.3 release, and also a new version of SMU and ChatOps. And now I would like to introduce you specifically some of the user experiences, or look at the user experience, how you would manage a mainframe environment from different perspectives. So if we start at the bottom, you see the IBM Z System Management tools. Of course, these are the core products that provide these capabilities like automation, monitoring, scheduling. These are the ICWS System Automation, NetView, Omega 1 for monitoring, and all these tools. And you often have 3270 terminal-based user interfaces to these tools. You have highly skilled subject matter experts, C system programmers, and so forth, working with these tools. On top of that, we have modern web-based user interfaces. Of course, you are all aware of the dynamic workload console for specifically the workload scheduling side of things. But then we have also this Service Management Unite UI, which provides a consolidated dashboard user interface, consolidating data from all the various tools that I mentioned below. So we have predefined dashboards for integrating and monitoring information coming from Omegamon, so all the various Omegamons that are included here. We have automation dashboards for system automation and NetView. It's actually the main web UI for SA operations. And we also have a dashboard including data from the Z Workload Scheduler part, so providing an overview of workstation, job streams, jobs, and all that from a scheduling perspective. All this with drill down capabilities into the dynamic workload console for deep dive access and so forth. And on top of those predefined dashboards, you will also have the possibility to create your own views as you need it based on your use cases. On top of that, we have a pretty new offering that's available since a little bit more than 1 year, IBM Z ChatOps, which provides the integration into chat platforms, enterprise chat platforms that you're all familiar with. And of course, the importance of these tools have increased dramatically over the last 2 years, right? Getting the team together in chat channels, collaboratively solving issues even from remote by using these kind of collaboration tools. And with IBM Z ChatOps, we provide a chatbot that actually allows integration of C management data into these tools and provide also collaborative incident remediation through these tools. And later today, I have a more detailed session where I will talk more on and also show a demo on how you can actually use that in conjunction with the Z Workload Scheduler. So manage workload scheduling from Microsoft Teams, for example. So just a few screenshots to show you what we provide in SMU. So in SMU, Service Management Unite, we have this workload scheduler overview. It provides an overview dashboard of your daily plan of your Z workload scheduling environment. So top left, you see, for instance, the workstations, then the main status information for the workstations. Below that, you see the job streams. You can drill down into the job streams to see the jobs. You see the status information. You have context-sensitive actions to set the status. You, of course, can drill down into corresponding views in the dynamic workload console. You also get overview graphs like the job status, how many jobs are in a good state, how many have maybe an error state. It's all clickable. You can click a certain status, for example, to just show the jobs that are in a certain state. You see the critical jobs information. And one of the benefits of Service Management Unite is that it provides the integration of all the management data of the different management disciplines. So on the lower right side, you can see that there's also system automation data included. So if you use, for example, system automation to make the infrastructure of the Z Workload Scheduler environment highly available, you will see the corresponding resources from a system automation point of view and can actually control that also from this one dashboard. There's already mentioned seamless navigation into the dynamic workload console from SMU, either directly to the welcome page, but also in context. So for a certain job that you're looking at, for example, you can drill down into corresponding views in the DWC. Okay, now let me just give a very high-level overview of IBM Z ChatOps. And as I mentioned, I will have more details on that later today. So as I mentioned, Z ChatOps provides integration into the chat platforms that are mentioned here. So Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Mattermost are the chat platforms that we currently support. And we provide a chatbot that allows different integrations. So on the right side, you see the various products that we have integrations with. It's a very new addition. We have the integration with Z Workload Scheduler. And also Z Workload Scheduler 10.1 has been enhanced to also send events from the scheduling environment into Z ChatOps to show it, for example, in the chat channel of your operations teams to then start collaboratively working on resolving the issue, understanding the issue. You can communicate with a chatbot to get additional data directly from the chat channel without having to leave the tool. Here's one example to look, for instance, at the events. So I can just call the chatbot. In this example, it's called BNC Demo IBMC, but you can name it as you want. And you ask to show events for COS. Then you get a listing of all the events that are reported by the monitoring environment directly in the chat tool. From there, you can drill down into more details. You can perform additional queries to get more information and across the various management disciplines. So we have integration with CWS, as I mentioned, but also with system automation, NetView, OmegaMon for the monitoring side, and also C operations analytics. So Marco already mentioned the integration with Zowe. So I'm now shifting gears a little bit, but I think I'm more or less repeating what Marco already said. We have also integration with Zowe. Zowe as an open source platform and new way of accessing mainframe systems through APIs, through CLIs. And we have plugins for Z Workload Scheduler for CLI. So I have a CLI plugin into Zowe. And we also have the APIs available through the API mediation layer that is provided by Zowe, which is basically a central gateway of accessing all the available APIs of various products that integrate into this. And yeah, another thing that already Marco mentioned, the distributed pieces of the workload scheduling product, like the dynamic workload console, are containerized. And for C customers, it's a very interesting possibility to actually deploy that in CCX, the C container extensions, so that you can really have this running in a container environment, running purely on COS, natively on COS, that you can control it from COS management point of view. So finally, it's just a summary chart with links to more information. One thing that I would like to point out here is that we offer free quick start services. If you're interested in getting, for example, C ChatOps deployed, but also for Service Management Unite, we offer a few days of free support where we have an enablement team that can help you with getting started, getting installed, getting your products attached, and initial enablement. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me and I can forward you to the right people. Other than that, we have here links to product pages, documentation, and some videos. And we also have a C trial environment. So this is an environment where you can get free environment where you can actually log on and play around with some capabilities. We have two C trial environments for Service Management Unite. However, these two are actually focusing on system automation and on monitoring. We don't have a C trial for SMU using Z Workload Scheduler yet, but we're also working on a C trial for C ChatOps, which is also coming soon. That's my overview for this session, and as I mentioned, I will have more details on the ChatOps solution later today. Any questions?
Thank you. I think before we go into the next session, I think we should take 5 minutes to have a really terrible coffee.
From a tablet.